Hey guys, it's Mrs. Cheney here, wanting to talk to you about the project that we are starting this week. What you're going to be doing is drawing your favorite chip bag, okay? But before I talk to you too much about that, I want you to look at these snacks that I have on the screen. It says, think of one of your favorite snacks, okay? So I want you to think of that in your head right now. Can you think of a way that it relates to art? So when you think of your snack bag or your drink that you like, how does that relate to art? Okay, think about that for a second. It definitely does. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But before we get any further into the presentation, I want to answer the question a little bit. So basically, if you look at all of these snacks, all of these designs were designed by an artist. Okay. They could have those Chips Ahoy cookies could have just came in a package that was white and said chips on it, but it didn't. They took their design ideas to an artist, and then the artist drew out the design probably on paper and then put it on the computer. Okay, and that person is called a graphic artist, someone who does that. So the graphic artist is the person who designs the packaging and makes it look interesting, picks the colors, how the words are written, just everything about it, like this Oreo package, the milk splattering underneath it. Like all of these things were designed by an artist and then it was put on the packaging. Okay, so all these things start with artwork and there's lots of thought that is put into it. Okay. I'm going to move my face on over here a little bit. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Your next project, if you were actually in art class, which you might be next week, or it sounds like you're going to be next week, unless something changes. But so if you are actually in class, there is a chance you could actually do this as a painting. But chances are you might end up finishing it with colored pencil or marker. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Not marker. I'm sorry, just colored pencil. So if you happen to be in class, if that works out, you could paint it. If you happen to be at home, you can use colored pencil. Okay, we'll just see how it goes. But you are going to pick your favorite chip bag, and you're going to be drawing that and either painting it or coloring it. Okay. Okay, and then these are the standards or like our goals. The standards are set by the state of Tennessee. It's the things that they tell me. They're like, hey, Mrs. Cheney, in art class in high school, your students need to be able to do these things. Okay, that's what the standards are. So the first one says investigate an aspect of contemporary life utilizing art and design. That means you're looking at something from your everyday life and looking at it artistically, which we're going to do in a second. You apply relevant criteria to examine, reflect on, and plan revisions for a work of art or design in progress. That means that you are getting feedback as to how your project is looking, and then you're making changes as necessary to make it look better and better. Okay? You're going to establish relevant criteria and apply them to an evaluation of work of art or collection of works. Okay, now this is actually something we would do if we were in class full time, but since we're not, we're going to actually skip that one. So I'm not even going to get into it. Okay. All right, so it says, what elements of art go with this chip bag? Okay, so the elements of art are like the foundation or the building blocks for all art projects. They're like our special words that we use when we talk about art. So the first one is line. So if you're looking at this Dorito chip bag, do you see lines? Yeah, I mean, there's lots of lines. We got lines going through here, the line around the chip. There's lines in the bottom of the bag. There's lots of different lines going on. Shape. Okay, there are two different types of shape, geometric and organic. So geometric are like normal shapes, triangles, squares, rectangles, circles, and so on. And then organic shapes are all other shapes, like made up shapes, okay? So if you look at this, we can definitely see some shapes, right? We've got a triangle here. We've got a triangle for the chip. If you look around, there's just different things. There's a rectangle in there. There's organic shapes as well, like the chip bag is an organic shape because it's not quite a rectangle. It goes in on the sides and things like that. So there are definitely shapes. Color, okay, we definitely see color, the reds and orange and so on. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. You definitely see value in this chip bag. We've got like red here and then lighter values of red in the highlighted areas of the bag. There's also different values of orange and yellows inside the chip. Texture is the way something feels or appears to feel. So with this, since we're just looking at the computer screen, we're talking about implied texture. So like those chips look bumpy and like the bag looks smooth. Those would be the two main ones, okay? Space, okay, space is just like the chip bag itself and the different parts of the chip bag, the designs on it that are taking up space. Okay, so like, the chips are taking up the space on the chip bag, the word Doritos, okay. Form means, is it like three-dimensional? And I would say this bag does look three-dimensional because of like the highlights and shadows and things like that. It doesn't look flat. It looks like it has dimension to it. All right, now if you were here in class, we'd be having a group discussion, but you're not. All right, so this is the color wheel, and we talked about this a lot the last couple weeks. So it says, what are the three primary colors? Okay, so the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And then it says, what happens when you mix two primary colors together? Well, we should know this by now. When we mix red and blue, I'm not sure why my face is moving around. When we mix red and blue, we get purple. That's why purple is in between red and blue. Because when we put red and blue together, we get purple, okay? So same thing here, red and yellow. When you mix it together, you get orange. And that's why orange is in the middle of red and yellow. And then over here, to make green, we mix blue and yellow. And that's why green is in the middle of blue and yellow, because blue and yellow make green. Okay, now this is our full color wheel with all 12 colors. So this one has the primary, which is red, yellow, and blue, but it also has secondary, so orange, purple, and green, and then it also has the intermediate colors, and those are the colors that have two words, red, violet, red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, violet. So to get an intermediate color, we mix a primary and a secondary together. So blue and violet make blue violet. Okay, red and orange makes red orange, and so on. Okay, and then these are the color families that we talked about on that worksheet that you did. So we're going to just keep going. So I want you to think about this, about one sports team that uses complementary colors, because we know that people consider like complementary colors and color schemes when they choose colors for their logos and their sports teams and things like that. So can you think of some that have complementary colors? Here's some examples. Okay, so LSU, these are complementary colors. The Broncos, again, complementary colors. Okay, these are complementary colors, purple and yellow, and then blue and orange. The Mets are blue and orange. Color families are everywhere, okay? Okay, so now let's talk about some chips and snacks and candy and things like that. Right here, what color scheme would this be? What do you think? It's warm colors, red, orange, and yellow. Not a whole lot of orange, but red and yellow, so it's warm colors. Okay, this one, what color scheme do you notice the most here? I would say complementary, because lots of blues and oranges going on there, okay? What about Sour Patch Kids? I'm going to go with either intermediates, which are like yellow green, yellow orange, red violet. Yeah, it's mostly intermediate. We're going to stick with that one. Down here, we've got some lip gloss. Okay, and these are all like different types of red. So this would be like monochromatic. Monochromatic means all one color. This girl's hair right here would be cool colors. So blues, purples, and greens. And actually, these lip glosses might be warm colors. That might be a good one for that too. Any of those would work. All right. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay, so here are some examples of chip bag drawings that some of my students have done in the past. So this is a Lay's chip bag. So this student looked at an image of a Lay's chip bag or may have had one in front of them, drew it with pencil first lightly. Once they liked it, then they went ahead and colored it in and did some outlining, added some shadows where there was shadows in the bag. Now think about it, if they would have just colored it in straight yellow, it wouldn't look as good. It wouldn't look as three-dimensional. By adding these little bits of shadow, it makes it look like it has form, okay? Now over here, this person wanted to get creative with their chip bag. I always welcome creativity, right? So they took a design of a chip bag and changed it to make it look like paint colors or like paint chips. Okay, so then they did cool colors here. And then they made it look like, the things you pick up in the store that have the different paint colors on it. So they totally changed it to make it something artistic, and I'm all for that too, okay? So basically, let me see if I have another slide. Nope. Okay. So basically what I need you to do for this week is you are going to pick a type of chips that you want to draw. Okay, so I mean, it can be anything from Doritos and all the different kinds of Doritos because there's all different ones. It can be like the Lay's chips and the different kinds, sour cream and onion, barbecue. It can be Takis, I think they're called. Cheetos, like whatever kind of chip you want. Okay, I need you to either look at an actual bag of chips or look up an image of one. Okay, that's the easiest way. So look at the image and then I want you to draw it on a piece of paper. Draw it with pencil, draw lightly in case you need to erase. Draw it as nicely as you can. When you're done, then I want you to color it in with colored pencil. Okay, so this isn't the paint part that I talked about at the beginning. Okay, this is sort of like a rough draft, a smaller version of what we're going to do for the final project. So don't worry about paint yet. Everyone has to use colored pencil for this part. This is our rough draft, but we're still doing our best on it, okay? So get a regular piece of plain white paper, draw the chip bag while looking at the image or the actual chip bag. Draw lightly in case you need to erase. When you like the way it looks, color it in with colored pencil, and I'd like you to do some of those colored pencil techniques that we talked about earlier. Okay, so you're overlapping colors, you're coloring in the same direction, you're coloring nicely. Just think about those things that we did when we talked about colored pencil and just really do your best with the coloring. Okay, so that's what you're going to do for this week, and that's due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And then I think that's it for now, but if you have any questions, let me know. See ya.